Welcome to the Deep Dive. You've shared a fantastic stack of sources with us, all about taking your English skills from simply understanding the language to actually living it, using it to talk about the things that truly matter in your life.
That's right. We've got insights from guides on daily practice, how to talk about self-care and well-being, describing your connection with nature, and really digging into mastering pronunciation.
Think of this deep dive as cutting through the noise to pull out the most potent insights, the aha moments, and the truly actionable steps hidden within these materials.
Yeah, sort of extracting the essence.
Our mission, to arm you with the key strategies, the essential vocabulary, the grammar nudges, cultural context, and practical advice so you can feel more informed and, crucially, more confident in your English.
It's not just about learning words, is it? It's about unlocking real conversations.
Exactly. So let's unpack this by starting with a core idea that jumped out from these guides right away. Improving your English isn't just another item on a to-do list.
No, definitely not.
It's about weaving the language into the fabric of your actual life. It should feel natural, maybe even fun, definitely not just study, study, study.
Right, these materials really emphasize a holistic approach. It's about subtle immersion, making English a natural part of your environment.
And speaking of subtle, one powerful technique highlighted is passive learning. It sounds simple, but it's about constantly exposing your brain to the language without intense effort.
Like switching your phone or computer settings to English, every time you open an app, you're seeing vocabulary and phrases.
Right.
It's background learning that, adds up over time.
It's like when you hear a song on the radio over and over. You're not actively trying to learn it, but eventually you know all the words. Your brain is just absorbing it.
Precisely. And building on that, labeling everyday objects at home with English names is another great suggestion.
I love that. A sticky note on the fridge saying, Nourishment Hub. Or on the coffee maker. Lifeblood dispenser.
Yes.
Exactly. Those constant visual reminders help cement vocabulary, make the language feel tangible, part of your physical space.
Those little things really add up. But before you start labeling every single item, the guides stress something fundamental. Setting clear goals.
Absolutely crucial. Learning English without a goal is like, well, driving without a destination. You need to know your why.
Why are you doing this?
Are you learning for work, for travel, to connect with family or friends, or just for the sheer joy of discovery?
Knowing that why is the fuel that keeps you going when things get tough, isn't it?
It really is. And a major area these sources dive into for integrating English is engaging with media you actually enjoy.
Oh, the options are endless now. Movies, TV shows, podcasts, audiobooks. The key is personal interest, right?
Totally.
Forget generic textbooks. If you love nature, watch documentaries on Netflix or BBC. If you're into true crime, find a podcast.
Exactly. If it feels like homework, you won't stick with it. It needs to be genuinely engaging.
What about accents? These guides touch on that. Does it matter which accent you listen to? Well, being exposed to different accents is definitely beneficial. It trains your ear to understand a wider range of speakers.
Okay.
But don't get hung up on it. Enjoying the content comes first. Your brain will adapt.
Okay, speaking of things that can feel intimidating, let's talk about actually speaking English. The sources offer some surprising ways to overcome that fear.
One method they suggest might sound a little odd at first. Talking to yourself in English.
Talking to myself. Really, isn't that just practicing your own mistakes?
It's a fair question, but think of it as a zero-pressure environment. It's a safe space to practice vocabulary, work on pronunciation, get a feel for rhythm without worrying about someone else's judgment.
I see.
You can narrate your day, okay, I'm making breakfast now, I need eggs and toast. It's about getting those words out of your head and exercising your mouth muscles.
Okay, I can see that. It's getting the words moving. And when you're ready to talk to other people, the guides recommend finding a language partner.
Yes, which can feel less daunting than, say, giving a presentation. There are great online platforms like conversationexchange.com or apps like Tandem, HelloTalk.
Right.
You can connect with people globally for language exchange, your English for their Spanish, for example.
That's brilliant. You get practice and help someone else. It's a win-win. And they mention offline options, too.
Absolutely. Local meetups, language cafes, conversation clubs you can often find on sites like meetup.com. It's a chance to practice face-to-face in a relaxed setting. Plus, you might make new friends.
The social connection aspect is huge. Okay,
Yeah.
So we've talked about getting set up, immersion, media, and speaking. Now for the building blocks, vocabulary.
These materials acknowledge that flashcards, like with Quizlet, are helpful starting points, but they're clear. True fluency requires more than just memorizing words in isolation.
It's like having all the ingredients in your kitchen, but no idea how to combine them into a meal.
Exactly. The guides really stress understanding words in context, seeing how they work together in real sentences, how their meaning can shift slightly depending on the situation.
And how do you get better at that? What do they suggest?
Creating your own sentences using new words is powerful. And paying close attention to how words are used in the media, you enjoy the books, articles, or podcasts. It's often more memorable than just looking up a definition.
That makes sense.
Yep.
And one really key concept they introduce is collocations.
Ah, yes, collocations. These are words that just naturally seem to go together in English, like make a decision or catch a cold.
Right.
You wouldn't usually do a decision or get a cold, though you might say you're getting a cold when symptoms start.
Right, those unwritten word partnerships.
Yeah.
Getting these right is like having the secret handshake of fluent English speakers. It makes you sound smooth, not choppy.
It really does. And the best way to learn them is simply paying attention. The more you read and listen, the more you'll start noticing these patterns. Your brain begins to anticipate them.
It sounds like becoming a language detective.
Precisely. And keeping a vocabulary journal is recommended. It's not just a list of words. Make it your personal dictionary.
Okay.
Include example sentences, note the collocations, maybe even draw a little sketch. Make it stick for you.
But building vocabulary can be a grind. How do these sources suggest staying motivated when you feel like words are just flying out of your head?
They stress realistic goals. Don't try to learn 100 words a day. Start small, maybe 5 or 10 words a day, perhaps even just focusing on a few per week. Build that vocabulary muscle gradually.
And constant review, I imagine.
Repetition is absolutely key to moving words from passive recognition to active use.
Makes sense.
And be strategic. Focus on words that are relevant to your interests. If you're a gardener, learn gardening vocabulary. If you're a chef, learn cooking terms. Personalize it, make it relevant to your life, and it becomes much more engaging.
That's smart. But even with the best strategies, everyone hits plateaus or feels frustrated sometimes. How do these guides advise pushing through that?
They emphasize connecting back to your why. Remember that deep-seated reason you started learning English in the first place. That purpose fuels you when motivation dips.
It's remembering the bigger picture and celebrating those small victories, right? That has to be important.
Crucially. Did you finally use that tricky grammar point correctly? Did you have a conversation without feeling completely lost? Give yourself credit. Those small wins build momentum and confidence.
It's acknowledging the progress, no matter how small. And these materials also highlight the importance of patience and a growth mindset.
Language learning is definitely a marathon, not a sprint. There will be challenges, moments of frustration, maybe you feel like you're not improving.
Yeah, the dreaded plateau.
Exactly. Embrace that as part of the process. Keep putting one foot in front of the other, even if it's just a tiny step.
And remember, you're absolutely not alone. The sources emphasize finding community support,
That's huge.
connecting with other learners online or offline, sharing your struggles and your successes.
You're all in this journey together. Speaking of online, technology is a huge help, and the sources go deep on different tools.
Apps. There are so many apps. Duolingo, Babbel, Rosetta Stone. How do you choose the right one for you?
Well, the guides say there's no single best app. It depends on your style and goals. Duolingo is good for basics and gamified learning, but maybe not deep fluency.
Okay.
Babbel focuses on practical conversation for real-life situations. Rosetta Stone uses immersion without translation, which can be great for building intuitive understanding and focusing on pronunciation.
So it's about finding the one that clicks.
Exactly. Find the one that clicks with you. Try a few and see what fits.
What about more structured learning online? Courses.
Platforms like Coursera or Udemy offer online courses to really deepen your knowledge in specific areas: business English, grammar details, exam prep.
Ah, right.
They're flexible, letting you learn at your own pace, anywhere, anytime. It's almost like having a personalized tutor, always available.
That flexibility is massive.
We could.
And finally, back to community finding your tribe.
Yes. Online, Reddit has great subreddits like English Learning or Our Language Exchange, where you can ask questions, get advice from people all over the world.
And offline meetups, language cafes, conversation clubs.
Those are fantastic for face-to-face practice in a relaxed environment. The social aspect makes learning so much more enjoyable, and you really can make genuine connections.
Building that supportive network makes a world of difference. Wow, we've really unpacked that first section on weaving English into daily life. Now let's take that language and apply it to a really important part of modern life: talking about self-care.
Right. Self-care has moved from a niche concept to mainstream conversation, and one of these guides provides a roadmap specifically for English learners to navigate this territory.
The goal here is to pull out the essential vocabulary, key phrases, grammar tips, and cultural insights, so you can confidently discuss your own well-being or ask others about theirs.
Building vocabulary is the foundation. The guide breaks it down helpfully by category.
Starting with physical self-care, words like exercise.
I try to exercise 3 times a week. Good nutrition is a key part of my self-care.
Sleep.
I need 8 hours of sleep to function.
Hydration, relaxation.
Essential terms for the basics, yeah. Then mental and emotional self-care. Mindfulness.
Mindfulness helps me reduce stress.
Therapy.
I started therapy to process my emotions.
Meditation, stress, gratitude.
It's fantastic that these topics are becoming more accessible in English. The guide also covers daily habits that contribute to well-being.
Things like routine. My morning routine includes stretching. Balance. I try to seek balance in my busy life. Hobbies. Painting is my favorite hobby. Break. Taking short breaks helps me recharge.
Simple, actionable habits.
Yeah.
And the tools we use. Journaling, apps, books.
I write in my journal every night. I use a meditation app. The point is, having this vocabulary makes talking about these personal things much more fluid.
Definitely.
Exactly. Once you have the words, you need to put them together. The guide offers practical phrases categorized by function.
Like for sharing your own habits. I make time for myself by. One way I take care of myself is I feel better when my favorite self-care activity is.
Simple ways to describe what you do. And for asking others about theirs. How do you take care of yourself? What do you do to relax? Do you have any self-care tips? These open the door politely.
Phrases for expressing the benefits are also useful, I bet.
Yes, it helps me feel calm-focused. I notice a difference when I sleep well. It's good for my mental health. These connect the action to the positive outcome.
And offering some suggestions. Gently, of course.
Have you tried meditating? You might enjoy a warm bath. I recommend journaling. Gentle ways to share what works for you.
Okay, vocabulary and phrases down. What about the grammar specifically useful for self-care conversations?
The guide highlights the present simple for talking about regular habits. I drink water every morning. She meditates daily.
Right, routines?
And the present continuous for actions happening right now or around this time. I'm reading a self-help book. He's practicing mindfulness this week.
Got it. And past actions.
The past simple comes in for things you did in the past. I tried yoga last weekend. She slept for 9 hours yesterday.
And modal verbs can, should, might. They add important nuance for possibilities, advice, or suggestions, right?
Exactly. You can try deep breathing. You should take a nap. It might help to talk to a friend. They soften things.
And don't forget adjectives and adverbs. They make your descriptions more vivid.
Adjectives describe nouns. I feel refreshed. Adverbs describe verbs. She exercises regularly. Being mindful of these adds color.
A key skill is asking meaningful questions about self-care. The guide breaks down question types.
Open-ended questions encourage deeper sharing. What's your favorite way to unwind? How do you make time for yourself?
Versus yes-no questions for quick confirmation. Do you meditate every day? Are you good at managing stress? Much quicker answers.
And crucially, follow-up questions show you're genuinely listening and keep the conversation flowing. Oh, really? How did you get started? That sounds relaxing. How often do you do it?
Polite phrasing is also mentioned for sensitive topics. Important.
Absolutely. Instead of a blunt question, try, I was wondering, how do you stay so calm? Or, could you tell me a little about your self-care routine? It adds respect.
The guide gives a really practical 4-step framework for talking about your own routine.
Step 1. Give a general overview. I try to take care of myself in small ways.
Step 2. List specific activities. In the morning, I like to stretch, and at night, I relax by reading. Concrete examples.
Step 3. Explain the why or the benefits. Stretching helps me feel energized. Reading helps me calm down.
And step 4. Talk about how it makes you feel. I feel more focused and productive. It just makes me feel happier. The results.
The guide provides a full example paragraph that puts it all together naturally, showing that talking about self-care doesn't need to be complicated.
Now, this is an area where cultural nuances are really important, especially in English-speaking contexts.
They are. The guide points out that self-care, particularly mental and emotional health, is often considered a private matter. It's better to wait for someone to share information than to ask very direct, personal questions right away.
Quite carefully.
Yeah, there's a fine line. And framing matters. It's often better to frame self-care as empowering and beneficial, not a sign of weakness.
Right. Saying, I really enjoy taking time for myself sounds very different from, I have to force myself to do this.
Exactly. Focus on the positive outcomes.
The formality of the setting makes a huge difference too. Casual versus work.
Yes, talking to friends is casual. I just chill out on the weekend. But in a work setting, you might say, I try to incorporate relaxation techniques into my schedule. Know your audience.
The guide even touches on regional differences, how in the US it might be linked to productivity, UK more understated, Australia maybe more laid back.
Those generalizations can be useful to be aware of, but a neutral, friendly tone is usually safe. Don't assume.
The guide even ventures into advanced territory, expressing opinions and polite debate around self-care.
Phrases for stating your opinion. I think self-care is essential, in my opinion. I firmly believe that. Make your stance clear.
For agreeing, I completely agree. That's a great point. Absolutely, I've noticed the same thing.
And for disagreeing politely, I see your point, but I'm not sure I agree because, ooh, that's an interesting perspective, but I feel that. Respect is key, even when you see things differently.
They even include a mini debate example, showing how to respectfully counter a point like self-care is overrated.
By focusing on the tangible benefits like helping you handle tough times better. And they offer thought-provoking topics for practice, like, is self-care selfish, or should employers promote it?
Good practice material.
Great ways to practice the language and explore the topic.
Practicing in realistic scenarios is vital, and the guide provides some.
Yes, scenarios like a casual chat with a friend about managing stress, talking to a colleague who seems burnt out, discussing stress management at a doctor's appointment.
Okay.
Picturing yourself in these situations helps you prepare.
Common mistakes are also highlighted. Things to watch out for.
Vocabulary mix-ups are common, like saying sleep my mind instead of calm my mind, or using the wrong verb tense consistently.
And be careful with overgeneralizing. Avoid sweeping statements like, everyone needs to do yoga.
Instead, phrase it as, some people find yoga really helpful. Acknowledge personal choice. Cultural insensitivity is also key to avoid always be respectful.
Pronunciation, too.
Yeah, words like mindfulness or nutrition can be tricky. Listen to native speakers and try to imitate them.
That active listening is so important. Finally, tips for improving fluency and confidence in this area.
Build your self-care vocabulary gradually and, crucially, use it. Practice speaking as much as possible, even to yourself. Find language partners. Listen to how native speakers talk about these topics.
Look for opportunities in real life to use the language. Be patient. Fluency takes time. And celebrate those small wins.
The guide includes a sample conversation between two new friends talking about their routines, showing how all these elements can come together naturally.
That was a great deep dive into the language of self-care. Now let's take that language and step outside. Our next source explores how English helps us connect with the incredible world of nature.
Okay, let's head outdoors. This section is based on an English learner's guide focused on spending time in nature, which is a fantastic, practical starting point.
Why a simple guide? What's the angle?
It cuts right to the core benefits of being outdoors, stripping away complexity. The goal here is to explore the fundamental advantages, physical, mental, social, and give you the specific language tools to talk about why spending time in nature is so good for you.
Vocabulary is our starting point, as always. The guide breaks it down by types of activities.
Yes, activities like hiking, camping, jogging, cycling, gardening, swimming, picnicking. It covers different ways to engage with nature.
Right, different vibes.
From physical challenges to quiet relaxation. And each links to different aspects of well-being, hiking for physical challenge, camping for unplugging, gardening for unwinding.
Makes sense.
Precisely. Then the benefits themselves. Physical, increased strength, better fitness, energy. Mental, peace, calmness, stress relief, feeling grounded. And social, building friendships, teamwork, deepening bonds.
And the nature words that set the scene. Forest, mountain, lake, beach, sunlight, fresh air.
These help paint a picture, and the emotions and feelings you experience. Relaxed, excited, refreshed, happy, the good vibes.
A useful practice tip from the guide is to pair an activity with a benefit and a feeling.
Right, so instead of just saying, I like hiking, you can say, hiking improves my cardiovascular health and makes me feel invigorated. It connects everything and makes you mindful of your own experience.
Mastering sentence structures comes next. It's about putting those words together clearly.
Starting with the basics, subject, verb, object. I enjoy swimming, then connecting the activity to the benefit. Swimming is good exercise.
Adding the why. I swim because it's refreshing. Giving the reason.
and combining them for more descriptive sentences. I love cycling because it keeps me fit, or gardening helps me feel grounded. These simple structures are your building blocks.
To make your language more vivid, the guide talks about using adjectives and adverbs.
Adjectives describe feelings and experiences. Fresh air makes me feel good. Adverbs describe the action. I walk briskly.
Combining them helps you paint a clearer picture. The majestic mountains made our hike unforgettable.
I happily swam in the crystal clear lake. And using connecting words like because, since, and as is key for explaining the why, I go camping because it helps me disconnect. It explains the personal value.
Let's dive into the specific benefits the guide highlights, starting with physical health.
Phrases like boosts my stamina, maintain a healthy weight, strengthens my core. The guide gives concrete examples. Hiking burns calories and builds endurance. Cycling builds leg strength.
Connects activity to results.
Shows how being outside is fun exercise, not just a chore at the gym.
Mental health is crucial in our busy world, and nature plays a big role.
Absolutely. Phrases include declutter my mind, alleviates my anxiety, fosters a sense of tranquility. Examples: walking in the woods reduces stress, gardening provides focus and a sense of accomplishment. There's something profoundly grounding about nature.
And the guide mentions the science, right? It's not just a feeling. There's proof.
Yes, research shows being in nature can actually lower stress hormones like cortisol. It's a powerful tool for mental well-being.
Social benefits being outside with others. Important too.
Phrases here include a fantastic way to connect, met wonderful people, deepens bonds. Examples: camping creates lasting memories and strengthens relationships. Team sports build camaraderie.
Finding your community.
Exactly. Creating shared experiences, whether it's a challenging hike or a simple picnic.
And the environmental benefits connecting with nature makes us want to protect it. That's a key link.
Precisely. Phrases: fosters greater appreciation. Choosing active transport reduces my impact, makes me more aware of conservation. Examples: cycling to work reduces carbon emissions. Hiking in diverse ecosystems highlights the importance of protecting them.
Seeing it makes you care.
Seeing nature firsthand cultivates understanding and respect, which often translates into more sustainable behaviors.
To add personality and sound more natural, the guide introduces idioms and phrasal verbs. Make it sound less like a textbook.
Idioms like blow off steam, release stress, in the fresh air, outdoors, recharge your batteries, restore energy. They capture meaning concisely and add an informal native feel.
And phrasal verbs like workout, exercise, wind down, relax, catch up, spend time, converse.
These are super common in everyday English and enhance your fluency. They're like adding flavor to your sentences.
How do we use this language in practical conversations? The guide offers strategies for navigating outdoor chats.
How to start? Use open-ended questions. Do you enjoy spending time outdoors? Share your opinion. I find hiking incredibly rewarding. Or invite others. What are some of your favorite outdoor activities?
Simple ways to get the ball rolling.
How to maintain the conversation. Active listening is key. Add details, ask follow-up questions. Agree. I totally agree. Add your own detail. Yes, and I find it's also. Ask that follow-up. Have you explored any new trails recently?
And keep it going. Like tennis.
Yeah. And ending gracefully. Summarize what you heard, so it sounds like we both fine. Maybe suggest a future interaction. Maybe we could plan a hike sometime. And a polite closing. It's been great chatting. Practical steps.
Adapting your language to the situation is also important if formality matters. Code switching again.
Yes. With friends, you use casual language and slang. Hitting the trail. So chill. Good for my head.
But in a formal setting, like a presentation, you need clearer, more precise language. Engaging in outdoor recreational activities offers significant benefits, contribute effectively to our overall well-being.
The tone is completely different. And in writing, like an essay, you use connecting words, detailed explanations, and evidence. Understanding these different registers is vital.
Tailor to your audience.
Ye a language chameleon.
The guide also tackles common challenges learners face when talking about nature.
Forgetting a word. Don't panic. Use a more general term as a fallback, or simply describe what you mean. That activity where you walk in the forest. Get the meaning across.
Pronunciation can be tricky too. Words like hiking or relaxed might be difficult.
Listen to native speakers and try to imitate them. Don't let fear hold you back. Confidence comes from practice, and making mistakes is part of the process.
Cultural nuances in how people talk about nature are also explored. different perspectives.
Some cultures might emphasize the physical challenge, I conquered that mountain, while others focus on the peaceful, restorative aspects. Just a gentle stroll. It was therapeutic.
Achievement versus restoration.
Being aware of these different perspectives helps you connect across backgrounds. And the guide cautions against making generalizations. Instead of saying everyone loves going to the beach, ask an open question like, do you enjoy spending time by the sea?
More inclusive.
Respects preferences. Language and culture are deeply intertwined. Understanding these nuances helps you communicate effectively and sensitively. It's building a cultural bridge.
So, to wrap up this section, we started with a simple guide, but unearthed a comprehensive look at the many benefits of being outdoors. Having the right vocabulary and the confidence to use it not only enriches your own experiences, but connects you with others.
Whether you find your tribe on a mountain trail or sharing sandwiches at a picnic.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay, let's shift gears one last time. We've talked about integrating English into daily life, talking about your inner well-being and connecting with the outer world of nature, but none of that flows well if you can't be understood.
Right.
Our final topic is improving pronunciation, mastering the music of English.
Ugh. Pronunciation. Often intimidating, but these guides break it down. It's truly more than just getting individual sounds right. It's about the rhythm, the melody of the language.
The starting point is mastering the individual sounds. The sources mentioned there are about 44 distinct sounds phonemes in English.
Right, phonemes are the building blocks of spoken English. The word cat has 3, K-A-T-S, just those 3 sounds.
And the guides introduce the IPA, the International Phonetic Alphabet. Sounds technical, but useful.
The IPA is like a secret code, a universal map for sounds. One symbol represents one sound. This is incredibly helpful for tricky English spelling. Think of though, through, cough.
Completely different spellings, different sounds.
Exactly. The IPA tells you exactly how to pronounce them. You see the symbol, you know the sound, like that D in think is S. It removes the guesswork.
Okay, so it's worth looking into. And the guides also talk about minimal pairs. What are those?
Minimal pairs. They're words that sound almost identical but differ by just one sound, like ship and sheep, or leave and live.
Ah, I see. Close, but different meanings.
Practicing these is a workout for your ears and your tongue. It helps you fine-tune your pronunciation and avoid misunderstandings, like that crucial difference between beach and, well, you know.
Slight chuckle.
Got it.
Subtle but important differences.
Definitely.
Beyond individual sounds, the guides emphasize listening and imitating to get the overall flow of natural English.
This is where shadowing comes in. You listen to a native speaker and repeat what they say as closely as possible, not just the words, but the tone, the pauses, the rhythm, even the breaths.
It might feel a little silly at first, like mimicking someone's dance moves.
It can, but it trains both your ear and your mouth muscles to work together, helping you absorb the whole feeling of the language. You can shadow with anything you enjoy, podcasts, audiobooks, even singing along to music.
Makes practice more fun.
Weaves it into something enjoyable. Now, something often overlooked but crucial is word stress and sentence rhythm.
Stress and rhythm, how does that work in English?
English is a stress-timed language. We don't give equal time to every syllable like some languages. We emphasize certain syllables in words and certain words in sentences, and that changes the meaning.
Like the word record, the noun, like a vinyl record, versus record, the verb to record audio.
Exactly. Same letters, different stress, completely different meaning. Getting the stress wrong can confuse people. A fun way to practice is clapping or tapping along to sentences to feel that beat.
Saying sentence stress is about which words you emphasize within a sentence.
Yes. Think of the sentence, I didn't say he stole the money. Stress, I. It means someone else said it. Stress, didn't. It means you absolutely did not say it. Stress, he means someone else stole it.
Wow, okay. Changes everything.
It's incredible how changing one stressed word shifts the entire meaning. And intonation, the rise and fall of your voice, adds even more meaning emotions, questions versus statements.
Like she's go to the store. Flat is a statement, rising is a question. Sharp rise fall could be surprise.
It's the melody of the language. The guides reinforce that stress-timed rhythm is key to sounding natural. The stressed syllables are the strong beats. The cat, S-A-T on the mat. Unstressed words get squeezed in between.
Using technology is another strategy these guides strongly recommend for pronunciation.
There are fantastic pronunciation apps now, like LSA Speak, or sounds that use AI to give you instant feedback on your individual sounds, words, even sentences.
Like a coach in your pocket.
Pretty much. And using speech-to-text tools, like dictating a text message, is a surprisingly effective way to check your clarity, if your phone understands you.
Chances are a person will too. That's clever.
Another great resource is Youglish. You type in a word, and it finds videos of real people using that word in context, so you can hear its pronunciation in natural speech.
Real voices, not robotic ones.
Exactly. And finally, getting feedback and practicing consistently is essential. You can't just read about it.
You have to do it.
This is where the language exchange community comes in again. Practicing with native speakers or other learners gives you real-time feedback. You learn from each other.
Working with a tutor can also be incredibly helpful for pinpointing your specific pronunciation challenges, getting tailored advice.
And one tip that might feel awkward but is incredibly powerful: record yourself speaking. Listen back.
Oof. Does anyone like hearing their own voice?
Chuckles? Probably not at first, but it's like looking in a mirror. You'll hear exactly what you sound like, notice things you didn't realize, and crucially, you'll be able to track your progress, which is a huge confidence booster.
Set realistic goals too, I imagine. Don't try to fix everything at once.
Absolutely. Focus on one or two sounds, or maybe sentence stress, for a week or two. Small steps lead to big results over time. And remember, it's a journey. It takes time and practice, and it is absolutely okay to make mistakes.
Everyone makes them.
Even native speakers mess up sometimes. The goal isn't to erase who you are or sound perfect, but to communicate clearly and confidently.
The guides recap 5 core strategies. Focus on sounds, using IPA, minimal pairs. Listen and imitate, shadowing. Master stress and rhythm, word sentence stress, intonation, linking.
Right. Leverage technology and get feedback while practicing consistently.
And they detail those key pronunciation components. Phones, the 44 sounds, word stress, sentence stress, intonation, stress-timed rhythm, and linking. What's linking again?
Linking is how native speakers connect words together fluidly. I want to go often becomes I want to go, get out of here becomes get out of here.
Smoothing the gaps between words.
Exactly. Listening for and practicing these link sounds makes your speech flow more naturally.
Common challenges are detailed, like the subtle vowel sounds. There are 12 of them. That's a lot.
And minimal pairs really highlight how tiny vowel differences change meaning. Ship versus sheep, I self.
Right.
Training your ear and tongue for these is key.
Consonant clusters can be tough too, like in strengths. That's a mouthful.
Break them down. STRESKTSS. Practice them slowly, then blend. Tongue twisters are surprisingly good for this. They're a workout for your mouth muscles.
And the notorious silent letters in English, like in night, psychology.
Yeah.
Why are they even there?
Chuckles historical reasons, usually. Quirky, yes, but often there are patterns, like a silent K before N. Recognizing these patterns helps.
The utility of the IPA is emphasized again. It's that universal map.
That unlocks pronunciation regardless of weird spelling. It's your pronunciation Rosetta Stone. There are tons of great logical online resources to help you learn it.
So it demystifies things.
Empowers you to decipher the sound of any word. But it's more than just individual sounds. It's the overall flow, the rhythm, the melody, the linking.
Like music.
Think of it like playing a musical instrument. You need the individual notes, the sounds, but also the rhythm, timing, and melody, stress, intonation, linking, to make music.
And final tips for putting it all into practice. Mimic natives, but remember the goal isn't to erase your accent.
No, your accent is part of your identity. Focus on clarity and confidence.
Use tongue twisters, they're actually useful.
For everyone, use the IPA as your map. Record yourself and listen back. And practice with friends, partners, or a tutor for feedback and real conversation.
It's a journey. Be patient, keep practicing, keep exploring, and find ways to make it enjoyable.
Celebrate every small win. Your confidence and clarity will grow.
Wow. We have covered so much ground in this deep dive, drawing from that incredible stack of sources you shared. It's really quite a journey.
From making English a daily habit and building essential vocabulary, to navigating conversations about personal well-being and connecting with the natural world, all the way to mastering the intricate music of English pronunciation, it really connects, doesn't it?
It really does. We've seen how powerful simple ideas can be, like using passive learning, understanding word partnerships with collocations, being aware of cultural nuances in sensitive conversations.
Appreciating the real scientific benefits of nature, leveraging the power of intonation and rhythm in speech, and figuring out what learning tools and styles resonate most with you.
It truly is about weaving the language into your life,
Yeah.
Finding your people, being strategic and patient, and celebrating every single step forward, no matter how small.
Exactly.
And remember, the goal is never about erasing who you are, but gaining the confidence and the clarity to express your unique self in English.
Couldn't agree more. So as we wrap up this deep dive, drawing on all these rich insights you've provided, here is something for you to ponder. What's just one small, perhaps unexpected element of English learning that we've discussed today
Just one thing.
that you can integrate into your daily or weekly routine this week that truly sparks your curiosity or feels uniquely tailored to your personal interests or learning style? Something to try out right away.